Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a short tutorial on how to stitch on evenweave. I hope I can convey and get across to you how to do this without sounding like a bumbling idiot. So the fabric I have in front of me is a 28 count Lugana from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie in the color Bliss. And the DMC floss I'm going to demonstrate with is DMC 666. My favorite color. So when I stitch with DMC, I use what is called the loop method to start the stitch. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I get one long piece of DMC, I fold it in half, thread these ends through my needle. I'm threading the needle off camera. Well, I'll do it on camera. And then if you see at the end, there's a loop. So wherever you're going to start your stitch, and I hope I have the camera close enough where you can see it. I come up. Now I'm working on a scroll frame, so I can turn this over to show you. I pull it where there is just the tiniest loop on the back. Now I'm completing the first leg of my X. So I go in the upper right corner, just stick my needle in, and again flip my fabric over. And you want to put your needle through the loop. And then when you pull, it anchors your stitch on the back. And then you can keep stitching. I'm going to do a row of 5 stitches to show you. The first thing about stitching on even weave is to remember that even weave is not difficult, it is just different than stitching on Aida. And also to remember, and I'm going to try to put a diagram in here. If I can. On even weave, one stitch, one X, is a block of 9 holes. 3, 3, and 3. And once you get the hang of this, this will be like second nature. You won't even have to think about it. So if you look, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to show that diagram, but I'm hoping you can see the holes in this fabric. I'm gonna come down and start another stitch. So here's my first stitch. You go up in the upper right hand corner, and I'm going to go across and do the first leg of 5 stitches. Like I said, a block of 9. So 3, 3, and 3 for the holes. And like I said too, once you start stitching that way, your eye will see it. And it won't be too hard for counting. Now, have I messed up before? Oh yeah, I messed up on the red and the black too. I stitched that on Joblin, I think. And I had miscounted by 1 thread, 1 hole, but I wasn't going back and ripping that out, no way. So just come back and complete the X. And yeah, I love stitching on even weave. I love Lugana. Lugana 28 count is my favorite fabric. For the longest time, Joblin was. And then I found as I got older, it was easier for me to see the holes on Lugana better than Joblin. Joblin has more of a sheen to it than Lugana does, and sometimes my daylight lamp hitting it would cast a little bit of a glare. Okay, there's that row. Now I'm going to show you what I do when I stitch with over dyed threads. Like on my coffee project, my Little House Needleworks project that I'm stitching. When you use over dyed threads, now you can stitch any way you want, but you are supposed to get the full color variegation in the threads, you are supposed to do 1 stitch at a time, which means when you start your thread, you can't use the loop method because you have to have 2 strands side by side. So what I do, and this is a tip that I used when I did needlepoint, I use an away knot or a waist knot, at least to start where I have no stitches surrounding this stitch. Once you get working and you have stitching around your other stitches that you're going to be doing, I just tuck under my needle under a couple stitches when I start a new thread and just pull it where there's a little tail. And if I do a stitch with me video, you know what? I'm gonna show you how I do that. I'm gonna pull, when I'm done this, I'm gonna pull this off of here and grab my coffee piece and show you how I do that. Okay. So I thread my 2 strands, and on the end, I need to cut that so it's even. On the end, about 1/2 inch or 1 inch up, I will tie a knot in the thread. Just like that. I don't know if you can see that knot, there's a shadow. Okay, see the knot right there? Let's just say I'm completing that row of 5 stitches. I would count over to where the last stitch is supposed to be, and I would put my needle on the front of the fabric through the hole in, just any hole in that square. The knot needs to rest on the front of the fabric. Then I would go back to where the first stitch is supposed to be and start stitching. Now, by doing that, you have created a tail on the back, and I'll flip it over so you can see. You see that line? You've created that line on the back. When you complete each X in that row, you're going to be anchoring that thread down on the fabric. It's going to be covering that line, as you will see as I stitch these. And like I said, with over-dyed threads, the way I do it, and it's hard sometimes to not catch that tail in your thread, I complete each X as I go. And like I said, I will actually show you that with my coffee piece here in a minute. But I'm going to show you what I do when I get to the end of that X, the end of the X, when I get to the knot. So keep stitching, complete 1 X at a time. And I'm almost to that knot. Okay, I'm to the knot. What I do is I grab my scissors, I pull this tail, and I pull it a little tight so the knot is, I can get under the knot with my scissors, and I just snip it. And if you see, the knot's gone, and so is any remaining thread. Now I'm going to flip it over and show you on the back. Look right here, there's where we stitched. Wait a minute, let me try to get it better in the camera. There is where we stitched. The X's covered that thread, and you're good to go. So I'm going to pause the video so I can grab my coffee piece and show you what I do with over-dyed threads when there are stitches around it. Okay guys, I am back. I have my coffee piece. Now I'm working on a Q-snap, and what's really great about my Stitchmate is that it comes with a Q-snap adapter. So you just put that in there and you can work right on it. So I am currently working right in this spot here on the border. It would have been nice if I would have grabbed some thread. Good God. Okay, I'm pausing you again. Okay, I'm back again. I have the thread. I pull out 2 strands. thread them in the needle. And what I always do is sometimes I don't pull the threads evenly. Now these are pretty even at the end. I make sure they're even at the end, and I may give them a little lick. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this over so I can show you. Now see, there's this square right here. I am starting my stitch right here. So I just tuck my needle underneath these previous stitches, and I will pull until it gets to the very end, until there's a little tail. And then I will start my first stitch. Now when I do my first stitch, I will pull it very gently. I won't yank it because it will yank that tail right out from under those stitches. But once you get through that first stitch or 2 stitches, usually the first X, see how I just like tug it gently? It's anchored. It's not going anywhere. So let me complete. I'm almost done this piece. I only have the border to go on it. The border seems never ending, however. And then you just keep going. I really like working on a Q-snap on this scroll, on this stitch mate. So thankful I found another stitch mate. My God. Okay, and there you go. I hope that helped you guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'm so thankful for this stitching community. You have no idea. I hope this helped. I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.